bum, 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 turning. So I was doing a couple routine checks this morning because I was going to take this thing out on a drive and realized I'm pretty sure we haven't had brake lights for the past couple drives. I don't know when they went out. I don't even know why they went out at this point, but we got running lights. Nothing happens when you press on the pedal. I have all the stuff to wire turn signals in this anyway. It feels like that's kind of in the same neighborhood. So I think before we go anywhere, let's wire up some turn signals and then we'll test everything out all at once. We bought a universal hot rod turn signal switch from Vintage Auto Garage. It comes with this wiring diagram. This part here is the reason why we're doing all this together, because the brake light switch actually has to run through the turn signal, obviously, so it can cut power to one side and do blinker stuff. I've been wanting to do this for a while. I hate driving this thing with no blinkers. I want other people to know my next move, especially because it's not the smoothest, operator in the world. So here is the plan. We already have those LED trailer lights in the back that we'll be able to use as brake, running, and turn signals. And then we're gonna do the same thing in the front because I bought these. You guys may remember that I'm a big fan of the cool lights, specifically amber. This is a lens that's converted to LED, which gets powered from the factory socket. You'll notice there's 3 wires here. That is because black is ground, and then it's got a bright and a dim. So this will also work as a front flasher, which is cool because that means we're taking this off because it's ugly and we only have one. We're gonna replace these, which are factory glass. We will keep them. I got orange bulbs in it right now, but we're actually gonna put orange lenses. This will turn into our front blinker and running light, and it's gonna be super cool. I got the back of the truck up in the air already. The new switch is hose clamped to the steering column, which is not a hack, that's how you mount them. And we're gonna start wiring. Don't really like it, but it's an opportunity to do a couple things I've been wanting to do and maybe clean up a bit along the way. So here's our switch. Like I said, hose clamped to the steering column. I got all the wires coming down and they're just all kind of wild right here. We are gonna follow our diagram and probably do the rears first because it's the longest run, and we'll just go color by color. One thing to note about this kit, if you buy one for whatever reason, this wiring diagram, wire number 2 is listed as sky blue. At least on the switch that I got, that is not true. It's actually white. The rest of them match up, so that wasn't that hard to figure out, but just a note. So I started looking closer at this mess. None of this I did except for this one to the brake light switch. It's not in very good shape. So instead of reusing existing like I thought, I'm just gonna trim everything out. The only thing we are gonna keep is this, because this is for running lights, but I'm gonna take this wire nut out because I got plenty of room and just put a connector on that. These are the yellow and blue I thought we used. I got enough wire here. I don't want to do this again. So I'm just going to do it. It'll go in a loom. I'll try to make it as nice as I can. I hate wiring, but I'll try to make it nice. And then we won't have to think about it again. So I've barely started, but I've pulled all this out already. There's nothing in the truck for the rear lights right now except for marker lights, running lights. So we have to grab some wire and we're going to have to run from the switch to left, from the switch to right. We're gonna do that first. That's the longest run. I gotta bring all this stuff through the firewall somewhere and I don't really know where. This is tail and this is brake lights and the fuses. I'm thinking in this area might be best. I do have a firewall mount master cylinder and booster coming for this thing to convert it to a dual reservoir power brake setup. That's gonna make here busy. So I don't want to drag any wires through like right here because then I'll be moving it. I'm thinking about maybe making a hole over here somewhere where I can bring all my stuff down and keep it tight like to here, because then the fronts can run along this series of clips and the back can kind of dive down. Okay, right rear is up first. That's a black wire. I actually don't have black, but I do have brown. I think I'm going to start at the lamp and work our way back towards this. That way I can kind of route it nice. And then I did make this hole bigger. What's a little extra hole in this firewall? Nothing. So all of our wires that need to come through are gonna come through right here. So I went ahead and strung the left and right rear at the same time because we're going to the same place. So this is gonna be right rear flasher, which needs to go to the black. And then left rear flasher is blue, and we did have blue. So we're going blue to blue. They're obviously plenty long. I don't want these like down here. I kind of want everything up if I can get it up. So I'm gonna route these a little bit and then we'll make 2 crimps. And then the rear flasher circuit is done. There's nothing powering it right now. We'll move on to that next, which I believe is this orange guy. Now I don't have orange wire, but I do have purple. So that's what we're gonna use. The rest I have, they should match. So we're gonna go orange is purple on this one. And this shouldn't be a very long run. It's gonna go to the other side of the switch and then to wire number 5, so it'll come through the same hole, but it should be only about this long. The rear is pretty much all done. We need to move on to the front, which means we need to get these lenses out and then mount our new things, figure out which one is the bright, which one is the not bright for our new LED marker lights. Make sure they fit. I got new gaskets. I should have all the stuff. All right, let's start getting these off. I've had them apart before. That's why these screws are coming out also. They didn't originally have amber bulbs. I modified one to make it work. It's kind of a fire hazard. I'm actually excited to replace it with LEDs, although I am a little sad because these are cool lenses. They're real glass. This one has a little chip out of it, but you hear that? Yeah, see, I ground down one of the nubs on this amber bulb to make it work, and it did work, but we're going to convert to the LEDs. So this is not that surprising, but this is going to take a bit of modification, and I will tell you why. The whole reason I had to grind that other bulb is because, you know, you push and twist. The slots are not offset in this. It takes a weird 6-volt, not amber bulb. These ones are offset. You can see how we got the low and the high, normal, like 1157 or whatever style. There's also only one wire going to this, which means it's only going to power either the dim or the bright. I don't know which one. So what I'm saying is we can't use that socket, and that's actually okay, because that was going to be tough to connect to anyway. So we're probably going to end up trimming this socket off. We got to figure out if red or white is bright. Got my 12-volt simulator here, which is just a Milwaukee battery. We're going to snip these off and strip them. We know black is ground, we'll just connect it, and then we'll touch the red, we'll touch the white, we'll see what one makes the light brighter. That is the one that's going to be the flasher, the other one will just be the parking light. Okay, we'll go white. Are we not? Interesting. All right, so I'm an idiot. If you look close on the circuit board, it actually says which one's the ground, which is white, so that's why it wasn't working. But check it out. Black is that bright. Red is that bright. Do you see the difference? This will be our flasher. Bum, 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 turning. This will be our cruising, slow rolling, which it is labeled. Red says stop on the circuit board. So all of that was probably for naught, but we know it works now. Point of no return here, but this wire, which is this terminal here, is the only wire that feeds that light. I can't get it out because of the inner fender and stuff, and there's absolutely no way I'm taking the inner fender off to install a light. This black wire eventually is going to need to end up here. Our white will ground somewhere, which we'll try to find a nice ground for it. And then the red will go to our turn signal flasher stock. You guys already know my hatred of flathead screws, so we'll see if it even comes. Oh man, no, 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 no. This whole like insulator thing is not rated for torque. Look at it. We're gonna cut it. All right, cutting, straight to cutting. All right, I can get all 3 of these wires through that hole, and we could start our journey back. Once they're in there, that's gonna be really tough to like crimp. So I think I'm gonna extend all of them now, then feed everything through, get it buttoned up. Got the wires extended and heat shrunk because these are gonna be out in the elements. Now this might look a little weird if you're paying attention because we got 2 whites, and I'll tell you why that is. We also have a brown. None of the colors are the same. Here's the thing. The white to white is our ground. I marked it with a piece of electrical tape. We know red is the blinker one. That ends up being white on the switch, so I had to run, I didn't have to, but I chose to run another white to keep the colors the same. So long white with no tape is bright. Black is parking light, right? I don't have any black wire. I should probably get some, but I do have brown, so we went that way. Now I can fish all this through and it'll start to make a lot of sense, and we can kind of get our wire routing figured out. Basically, the brown is gonna go to where the old wire went for the parking lights. I'm gonna find a ground somewhere for this, and this one goes into the cap, which is why it's so long. So I have all the wires pulled through loosely here, and the lens installed. Look how good it's gonna look. That pop of orange, even when it's off. I mean, look at side to side. The right front is done and wired. We got the white coming across. We're gonna clean all this up once we're prove to ourselves it works. And then down here, I've got the brown going where it used to, and then I found a screw that must be a ground, so I got her grounded up right there. It's time to take the other lens out, do the same modification, lengthen the wires, yada yada, run that in there, and then we have to wire the flasher, and then we should be able to test. We only have 2 wires left, red and yellow, and then we got to hook up a ground. So we are moving on to the flasher. Now this is it. This is an electronic flasher, which means it'll work with LEDs, hopefully, and not do the hyper flash thing. There's 3 terminals. As you're looking at it, you have P, X, and L. P goes to wire number 7, which is yellow. L, which is this one, goes to red, which is wire number 6, and this side goes to a fused 12 volt. It looks like direct to battery, not ignition switch, at least how this is drawn. And then you gotta ground it. All right, moment of truth. We have everything wired up. Nothing really tidied up yet, but I want to test it and see if it works or before I loom anything. So here's what we got. Ignore that side, but these are all the new wires for the front and the power. We got the stuff coming up from behind. Okay, battery's on, ignition's on. Let's first see if we got park lights. We do, and they look amazing. Yes, love it. Okay, we're not blinking nothing yet. Let's make sure we got lights in the back still. We do. We do. Okay, moment of truth. I hear it blinking. Check it out. We are making a left turn. Let's see if we're making a left turn in the rear too. We are. Okay, let's make a right turn. Now we're going right. It is working exactly how it's supposed to. I want to press on the brake pedal while we're doing nothing, and then while we're doing a turn, to make sure all of that works. I thought this was supposed to have, that bulb is supposed to light up. I don't know why it's not. Let's make sure we got brake lights now. Okay, we do. Brake lights are on. Now let's do a turn while we're braking. Perfect. Turn the other way. The only thing that doesn't work is this has a bulb in it, and it's supposed to have an indicator, and I don't know why. Maybe I don't have a good enough ground to the steering column. Could be that. All right, just for giggles, I went ahead and just grabbed one of my jumper leads and grounded this better. Now watch. I think having that indicator light is going to be important because this retrofit setup isn't self-canceling, which means you'd be looking like a dork trying to turn left for 25 miles. If you didn't have that light should be blinking and, you know, at least let you know. All right, well, I'm gonna spend the rest of the day kind of tidying up wiring and making sure everything's high and tight, not gonna get in a fan, belt, anything like that. Thank you so much for following along. That's gonna do it for this episode of TYGR's Garage. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.